Hey, good Saturday, everybody. Time for another edition of Five Outdoors. I've got a topic that I've been looking forward to for quite some time. It's all about hummingbirds. We're joined by Becky McPeak with the University of Arkansas Agricultural Extension Office. Now, Becky, these little hummingbirds arriving maybe a little earlier than some maybe used to, huh?
It could be. I mean, every year we just kind of hang in there and not know because birds are birds. They'll follow when the food's available. And so if we have some flowers that are blooming a little bit early that have some nectar that can entice them, they could be in our backyards.
So maybe we're used to having these little birds and we might want a refresher, or perhaps we've never really put the feeders out and created a good habitat. What are some tips that some beginners or even experts might
Mhm.
want to consider?
Well, of course, we do like to put out bird feeders, hummingbird feeders specifically, and those are filled with a sugar water mixture. And the mixture itself is 1 part to 4 parts water. So, like a quarter cup sugar to 4 parts water. And what you do with that is you mix that sugar, and it's usually table sugar, is what we recommend. And don't put any dye in it because they'll be attracted to your feeder. Your feeder usually has some red or some yellow on it or something that's going to attract them to your feeder.
That's an old I don't know if it's a wives' tale, but an old misconception that you got to put dye in it. That actually can hurt the birds, right?
Well, I haven't seen some exact scientific evidence to that, but we really don't want to put any more in it that could possibly hurt it. And the important thing, more than the dye, is keeping them clean. Because you have in the when it's cooler, like it is early spring, you don't have to change the water perhaps as much. But in the summer, when it gets really cloudy or it ferments pretty quickly, that alcohol could actually harm the bird, and we do know that.
Oh
So
wow.
make sure you clean really, really a lot in the summer. And if you decide to go on a vacation in the summer, I'd even suggest taking that feeder down just to make sure you don't harm any hummingbirds. But hopefully you'll have enough plant material there. You'll have some tubular flowers that they can transition to.
Any specific type of plant or flower that is the best for hummingbirds around Arkansas and Oklahoma?
I would say probably any type of flower that has nectar, but they really do like things. And I know this may not be the best example, but it's a trumpet creeper or trumpet vine.
Okay.
I haven't had any problems with those, but some people say they can get invasive because it is a vine. And so if you do plant it, keep that in mind that you might have to do some pretty heavy pruning to keep it from just overtaking everything.
A water source is obviously good for a lot of other backyard bird species. Is that important to hummingbirds as well?
Well, if you have your feeder up, your nectar feeder, it may not be quite as important as other birds, but like you said, it's always great to have a bird bath available, and you may see a hummingbird hop on that, especially if there's a really dry year. I
Sure.
mean, another part of this too is that hummingbirds do eat tiny insects on occasion. So, like many other songbirds out there, if you can avoid putting any poisons or toxins in your garden or in your flowers, try to do that if your primary goal is songbirds, because a lot of our songbirds eat insects.
So how long are we going to get to enjoy these hummingbirds? A few
Boy,
months.
that's really a good question. And so oftentimes we say keep those feeders up until you don't see them anymore. And that could be, of all things, October, if you
Wow.
can imagine that. Because sometimes we have some other hummingbirds that aren't the ruby-throated hummingbird that get in our flyways. And so they might be coming through a little bit later. And that's when we have the opportunity to see some of those, which is really cool.
Becky, I'm obsessed with migratory birds, ducks part of the year, hummingbirds the rest of the year. Thank you so much for educating us a little bit this morning, right here on Five Outdoors. That'll do it for us. We'll see you back here for another edition next week.